Hi everybody. It's been a little bit since I made a video. I am trying to get to where I make a video more frequently. Until then, I guess it is what it is. Anyway, I'm making this video because I want to try to clarify a few things. There's a lot of things going on with me that are that just don't seem to be right, but not much I can do about them. So maybe if I talk about them, it might help make sense of it. I don't know. Anyway, the end of the year is here. It's time for me to do my taxes. I still haven't figured out exactly what the local tax is going to be, because I have to find a piece of paper that has the amount I have to multiply by, and then multiply it by 271 to determine how much I owe for driving 271 days in the 2018 year. And then that's what I have to pay the city. Then I still have to go to H&R Block to help me figure out what my taxes are going to be to the IRS and to the state for this past year, because I still don't know exactly how to figure those taxes correctly. The only thing I'm certain of is that I don't know that I'm going to have enough money to pay the taxes should I owe any. There is a chance that I may not owe anything, which would be great if it happens, but I just don't see it happening that way. And even if it is just a few $100s that I owe, that's a few $100s I really don't have. Living in a car is not cheap. You would think that it would be dirt cheap compared to living in an apartment, but, well, here's what you're trading for rent and utilities. It's costing you a lot more to eat because you're eating out. Unless, of course, you can prepare food somehow, and then maybe you can still get food a little cheaper by buying it at the supermarket. But if you really don't have a place or the means to prepare anything, you're eating out all the time. And that's what I do. And I don't have an exact number because I haven't got it added up yet. But I do know that the expenses on my car, or well, I should say, the expenses for driving Uber, which includes the car payment, the insurance payment, the rental on the storage for the car, the gas and maintenance costs and repair costs, and other things that are related to driving Uber prior to me owning a car this past year, all add up to a significant amount of money. So much so that when I had it added up back in June, at the time it was like $19,000 earned and $13,000 in expenses. And that $13,000 maybe give or take $1,000 or so, depending on what I'm counting as deductible as a business expense that H&R Block may tell me isn't. But if everything that I'm counting is deductible as a business expense, then as of June, I had $6,000 of taxable income. So if that's the case by the end of June, if everything were to be the same, it would be about the same now. Things aren't the same though. Between the time lost driving due to the transmission problem and then due to the accident, that was 4 weeks of lost income. And the bills were still coming in anyway. Well, that's, at the time it was about $1,000 a week. So if I counted as $1,000 a week, I lost about $4,000 in income. That said, I didn't have the gas expense because I wasn't buying gas. But all of the other expenses were still there. Well, except for other maintenance. Because the Nissan wasn't being driven on the road, and the transmission was the problem it was having at the time. The Sentra, the new car, it's had a couple of oil changes. It's had a couple of tire rotations. So I have spent a little bit there. But for the most part, it's just been the car payment and insurance payment, both of which are higher than they were on the Altima. And my storage space also went up. And then I have the other storage, which is a 5x5 unit for keeping my belongings in. That one's not deductible as a business expense, but it is an expense. And so when I start adding up everything that I've spent, and I look at what I've got in my bank account, I basically don't have anything. Okay? So I don't really know for sure how much taxable income I've actually earned this year, but I believe it's going to end up being less than $12,000. And if that's the case, that means that I'm probably going to owe a little in income tax, but it won't be that much. I don't know what, if any, kind of refund I'll actually get. Have to wait and see on that. But the gasoline is the most expensive thing there is. I have to fill up the tank on the Sentra 6 days a week, and then I fill up this car on Sundays. So I'm buying gas every day. And since this tank is bigger, it ends up costing me a little more to fill it up on Sunday, even though I'm going a whole week between fill-ups. I'm still spending more on this fill-up than I spend on any one fill-up on the other car on any of the other days. That one's averaging about $20 to $25 a tank full. This one averages about $30 a tank full. So, but all said, in total, I'm spending $600 minimum per month on gasoline. And that's really biting into my ability to make any kind of profit. That combined with not earning as much money since the accident as I was earning before. With that going on, I'm keeping the bills paid, but I'm not getting ahead. Because I'm not getting ahead, it means that I'm still in the same place. So I don't know how long it's going to be before I see any kind of improvement here. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. I did note that I began to see that it was taking me longer to get started driving every day. So I started getting up at 5 to be able to start driving by 7. That's helped some. It's put me back closer to what I was making prior to the transmission problem. But I've only hit $1,000 1 week. And it really doesn't make sense to me because according to Uber, they started paying us more on September 28th. Well, on that 1 week that I earned $1,000, I did more trips than I did on any week that I earned $1,000 on prior to the transmission problem, which was in July. So I don't know how they're paying me more and I'm earning less. But until I start consistently earning $1,000 a week again, I really can't determine what's going on. But I am going to be talking to Uber about it because I feel like I may not be getting paid what I'm supposed to be getting paid. And that's not going to fly. I need every penny I can get out of this job to try to make a living. I'm going to be talking to Hope of the Valley, an organization that works out of my church to help the homeless. They have an in-house program to help get homeless people off the street. They're telling me that I do qualify and that they will help me, and that I'll be able to pretty much get what I want, which is a place to myself with no roommates, and be able to park both of my cars. The problem is, that's an expensive proposition. And I asked, being that you're given up to a year before you have to start paying the whole rent yourself, and it's usually about 6 months that you don't pay rent, and then you start paying a little more each month, building up to paying all the rent. And I asked the question, what happens if I'm not able to save enough money to pay the rent every month? What if that 6 months just barely gives me enough to pay the rent for 2 or 3 months? And the sliding part makes it to where I actually make it to the point of having to pay a whole month's rent. But then after that, I'm only able to pay rent for a month or two. What happens then? And the answer was, well, you may have to go back to what you're doing now, but at least you were off the street for a year. I don't find that acceptable. I'm not getting off the street to get back on it. I'm getting off the street to stay off the street. If I can't have some kind of guarantee that I'm going to be able to stay off the street, it isn't worth getting off at all. I should spend the time remaining homeless, living in this car, continuing to try to save money until I know I have enough saved and am making enough to be able to pay the rent every month in full. The other part of that is, despite the fact that I will be saving money because I won't have to have either storage anymore, I'll be able to get rid of both of those because I'll have a place to park both cars, and I will be able to take everything in the 5x5 and put it into my new apartment or house or whatever it is that I'm living in. So I won't need those. That's going to save me about $350 a month. Okay. Then I'm not going to be eating out all the time, so I'll be saving some money over what I spend eating out, but I don't even have a clue how much that is. So until I have an idea of how much I'm saving over eating out, I really don't know how to apply it. But for sake of argument, let's say that I end up spending 1/3 of what I spend to eat out, eating at home. Well, that means 2/3 of what I spend to eat out I can consider saved. If I'm spending, I don't know, $1,500 or $2,000 a month, I'd say probably not even $1,500 based on what my bills are. So let's just say I'm spending $1,500 a month on food, and I'm only spending 1/3 of that once I get off the street, then that means I'm saving about $1,000. Okay? Well, that savings is eaten up immediately by an electric bill, a potential gas bill, internet capability within the place that I live, okay, so that I have internet at home and don't have to go somewhere else for it. Okay? It all gets eaten up, and what's left is not enough to pay the rent. Okay? And that's if it's $1,000 on the food. I have no idea, so I really don't know. I really can't say. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. But I am going to go sign up for it anyway and see what happens with it. In addition, I am trying to see if there's other things I can do to try to make money. In addition to driving Uber, the problem is every moment that I have to take away from driving Uber is money I lose. So if what I'm trying to do to make money doesn't make more than I'm losing, I'm still losing. And, well, that's a little scary. I really can't afford, because of the bills that I have, to lose much. Truthfully, I can't really afford to lose anything. But there are times when I have to. For example, tomorrow, I've got a few things I have to get caught up on. to get reimbursed for the week of income that I lost because of the accident. I've got to get the paperwork that I pulled together mailed to the other guy's insurance company so they can process it and pay me what they believe I'm due. I got to get that done, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. I have all of my receipts from my credit card and debit card that I have to get caught up on. I'm not sure. I think August is where I'm starting. I have to look again. I don't think I did August. I think I did up through July last time. So I've got August, September, October, November, and December to get caught up on. So I got to get that done. And so I'm going to get up early tomorrow, like 3 in the morning. You know, I'll probably get up at 2, go over to Norms by 3, and then sit in Norms for however many hours it takes to get all those records caught up. And I need to do that because it's tax time, and I've got to have that information handy and available and ready for when I go to H&R Block. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Because I'm going to be getting up so early, there's no way I'm going to be able to drive all day long. Because I have the other things I have to do, that thing with the other insurance company, for example, I figure I may as well take the day off and just try to get as many things caught up as possible. I still am trying to get the student loan debt that I owe figured out so that I can get that started, so that I can then go through the process to find out if I can get that debt erased. Because according to the Department of Education, since DeVry did not deliver what they were supposed to deliver, there is a good chance that I can get that entire debt erased. So I have to go through the process to find out, and I can't even begin that process until I have made the payment arrangements and started making regular monthly payments on the debt. So I have to finish getting that done. And so I've got some work I have to do on that tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing that as well. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to Hope of the Valley tomorrow and get that process started so I can get all of that done tomorrow, and then I can quit thinking about it. Because the only thing that happens is I keep procrastinating because I need to make money and nothing gets done. And then I end up having to take a day off and lose the better part of $200. Anywhere from $115 to $180 based on what I've been making. Right? And I really need to be making $200 a day, but I just don't seem to be able to generate enough in trips to do that. And it's not like it can't be done. But in order to make that, you have to have a balance in the number of longer trips and number of shorter trips, because part of that $200 a day comes in the form of a weekly bonus. And there's two bonuses, one for 4 a.m. Monday through 4 a.m. Friday, and the other one from 4 a.m. Friday to 4 a.m. Monday. The Monday morning through Friday morning one, I can generally make that bonus. But it's a varying amount. Sometimes it's less than $90, other times it's over $120. The weekend bonus, Friday through Monday, also varies, but it's also a lot fewer trips. But because I'm only driving 2 of those 3 days, I rarely make the bonus on the weekend. Sometimes I will actually get enough trips to make that bonus, but it's rare. So to really, but even then, I'm lucky if I make 150 a day. The times when I make more than 150 are extremely rare. So in order to be able to make 200 a day, if I were to include the bonus for Monday morning through Friday morning as being $100, that means that I have to earn basically $180 a day for 6 days. Well, about 175 a day, I guess. Each day, all 6 days, plus the $100 from that bonus, to come out to $200 a week. You know, to $200 a day, which comes out to $1,200 a week. At $1,200 a week, all of my bills would be paid, and I would be saving money. And I'd be saving enough money that once I had a good nest egg saved up, paying the rent every month and the utilities every month would not be an issue. I just wouldn't be saving much beyond that. So these are the things I'm having to deal with, and they do cause me some consternation, and sometimes they even cause me anxiety, and occasionally they can even make me start feeling depressed. I hate it when those things happen. I try to fight that off because I believe I do much better when I'm not anxious and I'm not depressed, and when I'm not frustrated. However, doing away with the frustration means that either I have to learn how to accept all of the things that Uber does wrong and never be concerned about it ever again, which for me is impossible, or Uber has to change the way they do things, which is equally impossible. So I don't believe the frustration and consternation factor is ever going to go away. I just hope at some point I'm able to figure out something else to do to make money so I don't have to keep doing this. I love driving. I love feeling like I'm helping people out by giving them rides, and I think getting paid to do that is definitely a bonus. But I don't like the way I have to do it. I don't like the fact that it has got me so locked in now that I'm no longer doing this because I derive pleasure from it. Now I'm doing it because I don't have a choice. I stop doing it, my bills go unpaid, my credit goes to hell, I end up in debt forever. That's not acceptable to me, so I have to keep doing this until some other better form of income comes along. Anyway, I think I've rambled on about all that long enough. I want to make a couple of Uber-specific videos. One, I want to direct to the riders of Uber. There are things that I think many of them do not know or understand, or if they do know and or understand, they don't care. And I want them to know that they need to care. The other one I want aimed at Uber and Uber drivers, because there are many things I hear from my riders that to me are very unsettling. There are videos that I have seen that, well, I'm just going to say it, piss me off. Even if they're fake, they make Uber look bad, they make Uber drivers look bad. And I don't like anything that makes what I do as a profession look bad, because it makes me look bad. So I want to speak out about those things. Because I think it needs to be done. But those are going to be separate videos from this one. I'm just putting it out there so you know what it is that I'm thinking about, that I want to try to do. I don't know that I'm going to get either one of those videos done today. Oh, and the second video may actually be separated into two. So I'll have 3 videos, one for riders, one for drivers, and one for Uber itself. Might be better to keep them separated that way. But I have to figure out what it is that I'm going to say, because I tend to work off the top of my head. I just don't do well sitting down trying to write out what I want to say and then read the script. It just doesn't work for me that easy. But I mean, it's not like I haven't done it. I have prepared a speech and then spoken that speech in front of a group a couple of times. So it's not impossible for me. It's just, it takes more time than I feel like I have to do. So it's easier for me to just go off the top of my head. But I can at least make a few notes about what I want to talk about, so I'm not spending a lot of time going, you know. So those are what's coming next. I want to thank everybody who subscribes and who watches my videos and who like my videos, because I feel like people do want to know, and it makes me feel better about doing these things. Because one of my bigger concerns when I first began was, what if nobody cares? What if people watch my videos and go, not worth it, not interesting, bye, see you later. But that isn't what's happened. I have people subscribing to me. Not every day, but it is happening. I have people liking my videos. I have people commenting. Okay? Not a lot yet on the likes or the comments, but few. And I do appreciate every one of you, so I want to thank you for that. And for those watching this video that haven't done it yet, please subscribe. Tap that notification button so you know when I upload another video. And leave comments. I really want to know. Have a great day, guys. Bye.